guys, Dr. Nick with Health Lunch. Today I want to talk to you about some exercises you can do to help reduce that curve in the lower back. Have you ever noticed that some people have a really steep curvature in their lower spine? Well, not only is that not aesthetically pleasing, but it actually jams the joints in your lower back. And some people that have radiating pain from their lower back into the glutes and sometimes even the hamstrings is because they're jamming the joints in their spine. So we're going to go into 5 basic exercises that are going to help you reduce that curve, get the core stronger, and help you start feeling better. So let's first start off by seeing how much curvature we have in the back. So what I'll have you do is actually stand and back up to a wall where your heels are touching, and then bring your head back and stand in a neutral posture. If you can slide your whole arm in behind you, then you probably have too much curvature in the lower back. And so for our first exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to start engaging the lower abdominal muscles and start tilting that pelvis under. And so we're going to walk the feet out like this, about 8 to 12 inches from the wall. We're going to keep the head back. Remember, we don't want to create a new bad posture by flattening our lower back and letting our head and shoulders go forward. So keep that nice tall posture, and what we're going to do is we're going to engage our lower ab muscles. I guess the best example I could give is if someone were going to walk by and they scared you like they were going to hit you in the stomach, you want to tighten your core like that. So brace those abs like you're going to take a punch, and then we're going to tuck the pelvis under so that we flatten our back to the wall. Right now I cannot put either hand behind my back, and I can feel my lower abs engaged, and I'm going to hold that position for about 5 seconds, and then I'm going to relax for 1 to 2, and then I'm going to go back again and flatten towards the wall. This is really more of a mobility exercise. It's not going to magically flatten the curve in the lower back, but it's a great place to start at improving your posture. Okay, so next we're going to go over a stretch that's called a child's pose stretch. If you've ever taken a yoga class, it's a basic stretch they usually end the class with, but it's great for helping to flatten out that curve in the lower back. So what you're going to do is you point the toes behind you. You're basically going to sit back on your heels, and especially if you have a sore back, you want to start slow with this stretch. So you're just going to walk the hands out this way. You always want to keep your neck in a neutral position. You don't want to be looking up, and you don't want the head falling. And so we'll walk the hands out from a neutral position. And as you can see here, it's starting to flatten the curve in the lower back. So we're going to hold that position for about 20 seconds. And once you've held that position, we're going to slowly start to walk our hands to the left. And you'll really feel that stretch start to take off in the right lat and the right QL muscle, which also gets very tight with the increased lower back curve. Again, after you hold that side, slowly walk to the other side. And you'll reach with the left arm, and again you'll feel that stretch going from about the back of the shoulder all the way down to your waist. And then after that, come back to center, and you're going to slowly walk yourself back up. Now if that's too much strain on the lower back or your back's too tight, you can always modify it by starting with a foam roller, where you actually will start here and roll out slowly, and it doesn't bring you down quite as far or flex the spine as much. Next, I'm going to teach you how to do a proper crunch. You see too many people at the gym doing those full sit-ups where they come all the way up to their knees. That actually uses the hip flexor muscles more than it does the abs. And by tightening their hip flexor muscles, it increases the curve in your lower back. So to do a proper crunch, what you want to do is lie flat with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And we're going to actually flatten our lower back to the floor like we did against the wall. You'll feel the lower abs engage. Then you're going to relax and let the back round. And then we're going to come back to a neutral position. From this position, we want to brace the core. Again, it's like you're taking a punch to the abs. So keep the core tight. If you have any issues with the neck, what you want to do is take a wide elbows and have your hands behind the head. Almost a light push of the head back into the hands. That way you're not engaging muscles in the front of your neck to do a crunch. From here, we're just going to lift till we raise our shoulder blades off of the floor, and then we'll come back down. Just that small movement is getting the abs to work, but it's also starting to flatten out the curve in the lower back. You don't want to be using the elbows and pulling the neck forward. You're totally negating the entire exercise that way. If the crunches were too much and you started feeling some tension in the lower back, you may not be ready to just go right into a crunch. And so a great exercise from this position is to do what's called a knee to chest stretch. And so what we'll do is we're going to just straighten one leg. We're going to grab the knee of the opposite leg, and we're going to pull it in slightly. You're going to feel that flatten the curve in the lower back, You're gonna wanna hold this for about 5 seconds and then slightly let the knee go. And then you're gonna bring it back in. And the goal here is doing repetition where we're actually moving the spine versus just holding a position for a long period of time. If you don't feel like that's getting enough stretch in the lower back, you can also modify it by doing a double knee to chest stretch. And what we'll do is pull both knees in. I can really feel the back flattening here, and you should too. You feel a good stretch. Again, if you have pain, just stop doing the stretch. You'll hold it for about 5 seconds, and then you'll relax and let the knees go slightly. Then we're gonna pull those knees back in. And this is a great stretch for after crunches or at the end of the day when that lower back is really tight. Okay, so the last stretch that I wanna show you is a hip flexor stretch. The hip flexor muscle is attached to the front of our spine, and that actually pulls and increases curve in the lower back. So in order to achieve a more neutral position of the lower back, we wanna make sure that we're stretching our hip flexors. We'll start that by putting 1 foot forward. You can start on either side. You want to make sure that that knee is directly below the hip and that this ankle is directly below the front knee. From there, we're going to keep a nice tall posture, keep your head in neutral, and we're going to start to lunge forward here. I can already start to feel the stretch here in the hip. If you need a deeper stretch, you can raise this arm up overhead and actually start to lean away from the body. This is going to give you that nice deep stretch through the hip flexor muscle. You want to hold this for about 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and then you're going to slowly come back out of that stretch, and then we'll switch sides. Again, ankle should be right under the knee, and on the back leg, your knee should be right under the hip. That's the starting position, and from there, we're going to lunge forward again, and we're going to hold this stretch for about 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds. You should feel a really, really deep stretch through the hip flexor. And again, that's an important stretch so that we can put our spine, our lower back, into a more neutral position. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully these 5 exercises and stretches will really help you achieve a more neutral position in your lower back. If you thought these were helpful, make sure you click the thumbs up button down there in the corner and like this video so that more people will find it helpful. And if you are new to the channel, we ask that you would take the time to subscribe to our channel. That way we can bring you more high-value content that's going to help you live a healthier life.